Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Letter, where people are being possessed in bathrooms.
I don't understand what the kid.
Yeah.
I feel like she's part of it somehow, but I don't understand like how the ghost can possess a kid. So that's what makes me think somehow, some way, something.
She's like related to it.
Oh!
Someone had.
Oh, sorry, you go first, and something just dawned on me.
No, I was going to say, someone in the comments pointed out it was interesting that she had been possessed twice, and I thought that was a good point.
Her uncle is Luke. Maybe she's been to the house.
Oh, well, it didn't sound like it yet, but maybe we'll find out.
So.
That could be interesting. That would be interesting if that had been the case.
That's the only thing I can think of why the kid has this weird thing.
I'm wondering, though, if it doesn't actually end up having to do anything to do with Kylie, that it's all, like... I mean, it has more to do with Rebecca and Zach than it did with Kylie, that she just happened to be there.
Okay. Coincidence.
Bloody hell, I don't even understand what's happening anymore. ... The tremors continue long after the last of my classes have ended. Although none of my students have commented on it, I've caught a few sharing anxious glances every time a pen slips from my hand, or my shoulders tense whenever called. That definitely should be my hand, I would think.
I would think so. And also, I need to point out, I don't know how many times you've been in this classroom, but that poster in the background for Career Day looks like freaking Mike Myers.
Oh my god, it does.
I'm just saying.
Oh, that maybe not. Maybe it's your career as a serial killer.
Fantastic.
I'm like, ooh, what else is over there?
Question of the day: Would you sign up with a serial killer for Career Day?
You know, I imagine that's probably a popular booth.
I wonder if there's a lot of retirement benefits in that occupation.
What the benefits package is really? These are the important questions.
All right. Anyways.
Yes. How unusual it must be for them to see the normally composed Miss Gales become a bundle of nerves. Even the most boisterous ones have given me less grief today. You'd think being on my fourth cup of tea would provide any sort of comfort.
She has a problem.
Massive tea drinking problem.
Is that really tea? Doesn't look like tea to me. And what's with the green herb stuff? What is it?
I think that might be like tea leaves.
Doesn't look like tea leaves.
Or is this the fifth? Egad, why does counting matter now?
See, she can't even remember how many cups
That's true.
of whatever
It is starting to look bad for her. The fact that I can't easily shake it off this time should tell me something. The last time this happened, I passed it off as some lapse in my part after having been sick the week before.
And it is a natural conclusion.
Those are just stories, a centuries-old lore passed by the locals to keep children in line. What place doesn't have those? One of my dad's books even went as far as to describe them as a strong part of Isabella's culture. Tree giants, women who feed on unborn children straight from a mother's womb. Wait, what? Or hell, there's even that one story about a demon baby. All folklore that never had a smidge of truth in it, most probably told to scare off the natives there back in the old days. Much like every other one in every other place, the world is more universal than people care to think. But looking at it from where I'm standing now, after staring right into the eyes of that woman, after all the things I've been hearing and feeling, perhaps there's really more to that bloody letter than some awful Halloween prank.
Somebody finally admits it.
Yeah, that's true. I think Zach kind of admitted something was wrong, but I don't think he tied it to the letter. I'm trying to remember. I don't think he did.
This is the only problem when they're broken up like this so much.
Perhaps Isabella's right all along.
Ding, ding, ding.
A terrible thing if true. Though that doesn't linger long, thankfully. Soon the ringing of my mobile takes my attention away from it. An unfamiliar name flashes before me once the screen lights up and my brows knit together. That's weird.
Why is Marianne calling her?
Marianne McCullough. Staring hard at the screen, I try to remember when I've entered this person on my contact list. Oh, that's right. In the library.
Oh, yes.
We have the book.
Yep.
Okay. It takes a moment, but when it clicks, my eyes zero in on the book lying wide open on my table. Loaned up from the library almost a week ago. I met the woman there by sheer coincidence, a fellow history buff apparently. All this time the phone is ringing and I'm not answering it.
Right.
While I pontificate.
Well, and she's in class anyway. She shouldn't be answering her phone.
No, I think it's the end of her day.
Oh, I thought the kids were still there.
No, she said that she was talking about how this was after all our classes were over and she's still anxious. We read for the same book, but in the end, she's given it to me under the condition that I call her once I'm done. To be honest, I've completely forgotten about it until now, and, well, I haven't really taken a peek at it until today. Normally, I'd be done with the whole volume of this size a few days after taking it out, about 1 or 2, depending on how busy I am. But finding a chance to sit down and read, though, it has been more difficult lately than I anticipated. One moment I'm busy simply grading worksheets, attending a movie premiere, the next, then someone suddenly inviting me out for one reason or another. Interesting. Days later, a friend stops showing up in her flat right after worrying reports pop up in the local news. There simply isn't enough time to breathe and get a grip on things. I have been flipping through the pages of said book moments ago, though never really reading anything and merely hoping for a distraction. To no avail. My phone gives out another ring, and this time I do not hesitate to answer.
Marianne?
Hello. Here I was starting to wonder if it was a bad time to call. Is it?
No, not at all. I dismissed my last class a few minutes ago. I'm pretty much free for the rest of the afternoon. Unless something comes up. Is this about last time? The book?
Not really. I was hoping to ask you about some other thing.
Oh, sure. What about?
You grew up in this city, didn't you?
You gonna ask her about weird shit?
I think so. It's a peculiar question to ask someone you've just met, but I answer her nevertheless. I'm more curious where she's headed with this by starting with that.
Born and raised. 3rd-generation migrant. Why do you ask?
So, you must be familiar with the local lore. The, stories?
Quite. If I'm going to teach about history, I'd like to think I am, yeah? But a family friend would be a better person to ask. If you want, I can contact him for you.
No. Let's just keep this thing between us, okay? It's nothing too big. Alright. I really don't know how else to put this without sounding a bit crazy. But things have been really, odd. Do you remember the mansion I mentioned back when we met? My current project?
In hindsight, I should have expected it'll lead to this. She must not have lived here long if she's just asking about this now. It didn't take a week with Isabella when she arrived, but that's Isabella, superstitious down to the last hair. Though it won't be too far off to think Marianne has only started thinking about this recently. She's working on the damn house itself. I must admit, even I'm curious now, despite living here for so many years and having so many chances to look it up before.
Ermengarde Mansion, yes?
Yes, that one. And, the thing is, oh dear, this is a bad idea. You know what? Just forget I ever called you about this.
It must have been sunny weather to making me sick and see stupid things.
See things.
No, wait. It's all right. I don't mind.
There's a moment's pause before she responds again. She's right in that this is a silly thing to talk about, especially between what I assume two people who are pretty grounded on their beliefs with regards to these things. I won't blame her if she hesitates.
I can't believe I'm asking you about this.
It's fine. Why don't you just think of it as some form of research?
Well, all right. But after this, we're going to forget we ever had this talk.
My lips will be sealed. Now, what is it about the mansion?
Just, what do you know about it? The general gist. The place's past. What happened to the owners? Anything you can give me.
Ooh, we're gonna get some backstory?
Here we go.
Let's see. To start off,
I do my best to give her a concise summary from the time the house was commissioned 400 years ago and who had built it, up to the point it got deserted after the last heir's death and the deed was passed on the Ermengarde's nearest relatives. Frankly, if it weren't for the urban legends persisting, the house would have already faded into obscurity long ago, demolished even. These are all nothing she probably hasn't heard of before, yet there's dissatisfaction in her tone once I finish.
That's all there really is to it?
as far as I know. There's this little bit I forgot to mention about Lady Charlotte Ermengarde's death, but
Ooh,
most
do
of
tell.
those are just theories.
We're all ears.
Yeah.
Aside from that, this is really everything we've been teaching all these years. Should there be
What
anything
happened to
more?
her? What was her death?
No mention of any other weird stuff? Other crazy stories?
murdering ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just come out and say it at this point.
Or a letter of some sort.
My blood runs cold. Any warmth and comfort the tea I've drank has given me prior has instantly been drained out of me. The phone creaks softly as my light hold on it turns into a firm grip. This whole letter bullshit is starting to turn into more than a coincidence.
None that I've heard or read. What does a letter have to do with this?
Oh, no. It was just something I came across. Ignore it. Random thoughts,
Oh my god, if we don't say something, I'm gonna be so mad.
By the way, I need to run.
Oh,
Thanks for answering
never
my
mind.
questions.
She ends the call abruptly with only a clipped goodbye, leaving my mind heavy with even more thoughts.
You are responsible for her death, woman. I mean, we left her in the dungeon right now, remember?
That's true. But, I mean, that's not on Rebecca.
She should have spoke up and said we saw this damn letter too.
Well, but by the time she mentioned the letter, there wasn't really much chance to break in.
She could have, asked her to describe the letter and just saying, I haven't heard anything about a letter.
I don't know. I don't think we can blame her on this. The mood around my classroom has gone considerably denser in light of what little I've gleaned from that conversation. I don't think Marianne's lying about her intent. Her interest is genuine, I'd give her that, but she's left a lot of things out. I get the sense she only asked because something's happening around her too, and if she hadn't mentioned the letter, I probably wouldn't have made the connection.
Just what the hell did we get ourselves into?
Of course, there's still a lot of confusing details in this. All of these are just assumptions. No concrete conclusions to be formed with what we have, and if we want to find out what we're really dealing with, I think Marianne's right. There might be something more to those stories. As absurd as it sounds, the very place that gave us the letter might tell us something beyond what we know. And tomorrow night, I have a few hours of that chance at the housewarming party. Totally not an exciting thought since the place is privately owned now. I can't just wander around.
It's gonna be one busy ghost tomorrow. She's busy terrorizing Marianne, and then she's gonna go off and try to figure something else out. So the ghost is gonna go terrorize her.
I'm trying to think, did we see Rebecca after?
We saw her talking to Hannah.
Yeah. Did we see her after Hannah ran off with Zach?
No.
Ooh, I don't like that.
No.
But it's enough reason to keep the dread at bay as I step out of the room ready to put an end to this day. However, all the good vibes disappear into thin air when I run
it's
headfirst
whiskey.
into Luke.
Bratwurst.
There's really something in this man. Regardless of how much my opinion of him has changed over the span of a few hours, he simply blasts through every good impression people have of him without care or thought. He doesn't even need to open his mouth, his mere presence does it. In all honesty, I think he's the kind of guy only a mother can
You're
love.
still here?
Obviously. Who do you think standing in front of you?
An ass.
Oh, come on, Daisy. You've done better than that. Losing your touch?
Luke, I don't have time for this. I'm heading home, and your face is the last thing I want to see before I leave. What do you want?
Belatedly, I notice his hand. Partly raised, almost poised for a knock. Oh, so he's coming to see us. At a slight lift of an eyebrow, he quickly drops it to his side and turns to Kylie. She's standing a few steps away from him, holding her hand behind her back and towing at something on the floor with the tip of her shoe. Then he proceeds to make vague gestures at me and the child. He resembles a fish flopping for air with the way he's moving his arms, though I think he's trying to urge her to speak up.
Munchkin, I thought you wanted to tell her something.
You do it, Tio.
This wasn't my idea, darling.
Don't worry. I won't tell Tia what you told me the other day. And this morning.
Luke exhales, rolling his eyes at the ceiling and maybe praying for the universe to grant him more patience. He knows a losing battle when he sees one. He may act worse than a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum at times, but he's no match for an actual child. Nothing better than being served a dose of his own medicine, huh? Once his frustration has been promptly let out, he points a rude finger at me. I do my best to stare the offending digit down, but I can already hear the demand before it's even out of his lips.
You, come with us.
What makes you think I will?
Because little Rugrat here is upset and worried, and it's your bloody fault. I've no idea what happened this morning, but if you don't come with us, I won't be hearing the end of it from her.
What's going on?
I think Kylie is upset because of what happened in the bathroom.
Well, I know that, but why are we going with them? Why can't we just have a conversation in the hallway?
I have a feeling we're going out for like a parfait or something. That's my guess.
So do me a favor, Daisy. and just be glad I'm inviting you.
You're asking for a favor, and you can't be bothered to be polite? I don't know. It's been a really busy day for me. I kind of miss my couch.
That right there.
Daisy, you just say yes.
Ooh, he's getting
A
red in the
pause
face.
follows, almost too dramatic. Afterwards, his face twists into something between a grimace and a smile. As it happens, he appears like he's in a lot of physical pain. You'd think the man is getting an aneurysm by simply being polite.
Please?
Tio said it'll be his treat.
What? I said no such thing, Munchkin.
Too late.
I only agreed to this because you requested it. I'm under no obligation to feed her.
I promise we'll be quiet the next time I visit.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
But
the
just
next
one
time I
meal
visit?
and
Okay.
Make it the cheapest.
But that could have been their old place.
Yeah, but I think she's been to the mansion.
I'm thinking so. I'm leaning towards that. He and Ashton will get along famously on that department. On a different front, the offer of free dinner does sound enticing, however half-heartedly given it is. Mostly because Kylie has wisely put on her puppy eyes, and by the second I find all my choices slipping away from me.
See, Miss Pink? It'll be fun. You don't have to feel sad anymore, okay?
I'm just gonna kick
Oh,
Luke
I
under
lied.
the table.
My mobile buzzes from my pocket, cutting me mid-sentence, and for a second I'm spared the act of giving an answer I'll regret either way. Fishing the gadget out, I wave a hand at him and excuse myself. A disgruntled expression is on Luke's face before I turn away. I'd be lying if I say it didn't amuse me. He's as eager to be done with this as I am, but what can I do? Checking a message from Ashton shows up. Oh. Hey Becca, I'll be around Salem Well this evening. Need to meet someone in the area. I might have to drop by yours and Isabella's place after. See ya. Okay. Just the usual. Unlike what he does to Zachary, Ashton has the decency to let us know when he's dropping by or if he's in the area for some business. From the way it's phrased, it sounds to be the latter. Either way, I'm glad he's at least aware of that boundary. Not that Isabella is ever going to let him leave the building unscathed if he ever pulls the same stunt he does with the other man. I cringe to imagine what she'll do to him. Sighing, I slip the gadget back into my pocket. But looking up to see Luke's utter impatience on his face, I now face a difficult dilemma. The two of them are still waiting, and knowing the kind of person Luke is, this is already a grand gesture of goodwill coming from him. All to please his godchild. His denials aside, it's easy to tell he's really fond of Kylie from his actions alone. I kind of hate to ruin that.
You know what? I just had this envision of him standing there with like his hands on his hip and like tapping his foot the way Sonic used to do when he got like annoyed waiting for you.
When you just leave the controller there for a minute.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
Well, Daisy,
See?
we're waiting
Oh.
here.
That's awesome. On the other hand, there's Ash. Oh, his message doesn't exactly imply he's going to wait,
We're gonna have to make a choice.
or he's expecting me to be there, but there are matters I hope to discuss with him in person, to put it simply. Housewarming party matters. With inviting Isabella out of the question, I only have Zachary and Ashton. Although the former has already made it clear he'll be busy this week, and, well, Ashton has been my first choice from the start. Even if he detests attending gatherings like this. It's company that counts. We can be miserable together. But that's the problem, isn't it? He hates them, and it's very likely his answer will be a flat no. I'd rather not hear that. If by some miracle he agrees to it, he'll probably be sulking the whole party. Not really a tough choice when you put it like that, still. Tough choice, but I have to pick one. And we'll pick that in the next episode. This one is going to require some deliberation.
We're actually going to need the lizard.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to think about it for a few minutes.
Yep, this one we do actually have to think about. All right, that's going to do it for us. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.